this last week is done.
God, I'm exhausted. Like, I've just been exhausted every single day.
Yeah,
Dude,
I had a bit.
Sean, you saw my freak out
Too.
about my phone.
Yeah.
It was not a pretty week. It was not a pretty week at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, could have been worse. So I'm thinking positive.
Yep.
Ugh. Did you share show notes for this week,
Yeah.
Sean? Because I wasn't seeing them. Maybe
They're
just
in
because
they're in the event.
got it.
There's an event.
Yep. There we go. I'm used to going into my drive and then the shared with me. So
Yeah.
yeah.
They're still doing Race to World First. It's been 9 days.
really?
Nobody's done it yet.
I mean, that's not quite 2 weeks. I mean, we haven't hit 2-week mark yet, so.
They're slacking.
Hmm.
Get on that method, chop chop. Says me, who will likely never do that raid.
There you go.
I haven't done any of the raids this expansion.
What did I did?
You did the Gahoon one.
First one, yeah.
Gahoon.
Yeah, that one, and it sucked because I never got the drops I needed, and it made me angry enough to. That's literally the reason I quit.
Yep. Yep. I actually just saw in my memories on Facebook today, I had when I shared that picture of Butcher, and I put, oh, look, it's Sylvanas.
Hey, Sean.
Yeah.
On Discord, it says that you're streaming Moonlighter.
Well, Discord's wrong, because
Yeah.
everything's correct.
Okay. I just wanted to let you know that it says that on at least my end.
Well, Discord's dumb.
Okay.
Let me just double check. Oh, why did it do that? Update information. Yeah, I don't know why. Everything should have updated, but for whatever reason, it's not doing that. So, let's see. Title. Updating stuff using my chat commands. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, I don't know why. I updated that stuff, and then all of a sudden, yeah. Does it say talk shows and podcasts now?
Now it says yes.
All right. There we go. I don't know.
Now it says the correct activity.
Okay. I think it's just being dumb, I guess.
Do you hear my air conditioner in the background when I talk? Check. Do you hear it going behind me? Okay.
No.
No.
It just sounds pretty loud to me, so that's why I was wondering.
I mean, it's also difficult for me to hear it because we have every fan going.
And we've already established that I'm practically deaf sometimes.
Yeah.
Correct.
So. All right. We got 3 minutes till showtime.
Yeah.
Hello, viewers and listeners.
Yeah. It's just been...
And it just so happened, I just kept noticing more and more movie trailers, and I was like, oh, I wonder if this is going to be a movie trailer week.
It's
considering Comic-Con was last week, yeah.
Yeah. I still can't believe that Laura only brought one D20 to Comic-Con.
She's learning.
No, I don't understand this.
B-Way.
Because they probably flew.
As I say, because she gets gifted so many dice.
And, well, she probably flew from LA to San Diego.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if you're going to pack light because you're only going for a weekend, like, you don't want to bring a giant bag of dice taking up a lot of space in your carry-ons because...
But even one set? Even one full little set?
Sometimes space is a premium.
Fair.
Of course, I say this to someone where it's like, I bring, like, the Switch, and I'll bring, like, I'll bring, like, a little sketchbook, and I'll bring, like, another book to read and stuff like that. Like, I'll bring stuff, and realistically, could do everything. And then it turns out it's like, oh, I brought all this extra stuff that I don't need. I could have just brought the Switch. Boom. I don't need anything else.
Done this.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. My dress for your wedding should be in soon.
Okay. Ugh.
That's yeah.
So tired.
All of the tired.
Yeah, me too. I had to get up at like 9:30 and sit around and do nothing all day.
Oh, boo-hoo. Poor baby must be so sad.
Hey, me too. Actually, I had a bunch of meetings today. But
I got screamed at all night.
Yay.
For offering support.
Yay.
Yeah. Oh, and then my coverage was a half hour late. Because his coverage was 15 minutes late and he had to drive across town. I'm not mad at him. I'm mad at the person who was supposed to be being his coverage.
Yeah. Welcome to every second of managing anything.
Yep.
Considering we've also had a ton of people like just calling out. Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to every second of being any type of manager in anything.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, trust me. I remember my days as management. I do not miss it. At all.
Yeah. All right. There we go. 7:30.
Woo!
Let's get this show on the road, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right. Going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming up on episode 150, Captain Picard is back. Captain Maverick is back. A whole bunch of Marvel news from San Diego Comic-Con, and much, much more on the 8-Bit Adventures podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the 8-Bit Adventures podcast, bringing you the latest and greatest geeky news of the week. I am your host, Sean Hayes, and with me are my two wonderful co-hosts, as always, Courtney Bolin.
Hey, everybody.
And Josh York. Yes.
Beautiful.
For the podcast listeners, Josh, in lieu of doing some kind of snarky comment, just simply held up a drawing of Jane Foster.
It's the cover. Well, yeah, it's the cover from the first Jane Foster Thor.
Nice.
Book.
Yep. So.
Because it's the only Marvel movie I'm actually interested in a long time.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. So, kind of light on the gaming news this week, but a lot of movie news, particularly a lot of Marvel news. But yeah,
a lot.
There was so many trailers came out. Some look great, some look atrocious. We're going to talk about them all.
That's a nice way to put it.
So, we just want to start with the good, the bad, or the ugly.
Let's start atrocious because I'm curious which one you think is atrocious.
Let's start with the atrocious.
So let's start with that one. Cats.
Yeah. Oh wow. There's so much to unpack there. It's
not much, just bad CGI.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's kind of
the one thing to unpack.
Textbook Uncanny Valley.
And like, I'm just Cats is such a weird show in general.
I also have to ask, like, because if it's supposed to be like Cats, like regular cats, but like obviously you don't do that with Broadway, so you put them in cat costumes and everything.
Yep.
Like, it just seems weird to essentially make a movie about the Broadway production, is what it seems like. Instead of just making, like, it feels like it's just like, oh, this is Disney's live action, The Aristocats.
No.
Is what it should be.
Because the Aristocats has a story, has an actual real plot.
I did see a synopsis of Cat's plot, which was like,
I think I may have seen the same one. I saw it on Facebook today.
Yeah.
And it's basically cats have a dance-off. Winner goes in UFO to cat heaven.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
I like musicals a lot. I never was on the Cats bandwagon. I think it was a bit before my time.
Cats is an eclectic show to begin with, because it started off as a bunch of poems about these different cats, and Andrew Lloyd Webber found it and was just like, yeah, let's do that.
Wait, let me do a lot of cocaine first and read these poems.
Yes.
Legit.
Yes.
This is a drug-fueled fantasy, and I'm not sure if it's a bad trip or a bad trip that ended well, but it's a bad trip either way.
But yeah, it just seems weird to me that like that they would essentially that they would make it like anthropomorphized, like humanoid cats.
I'm sorry, but why would, if they were going to do it that way? Because like, I totally understand, but if they were going to do it that way, why not base it more off of the like Broadway costumes? Like, because those costumes, I don't know if you guys have ever seen, like, but the costumes on the Broadway plays, on the Broadway stage for it are beautiful.
Yeah.
And these are another Sonic nightmare.
Well, they're not costumes. Let's put it that way. It's not practical.
Yeah, no, and that, I think that would have gone a long way. Just changing up the costuming.
Okay, looking at the
make
pictures,
it real costuming.
Don't see much of a difference.
There is.
It's just spandex with fur.
Yes, and there is no real, like, there.
It's one step from CGI. It doesn't look that different.
But it's practical.
But it doesn't look that different.
I still think it's weird.
I think it's just a dumb idea for a movie.
Yes.
And people are like, why are you doing this?
Oh yeah.
Because they're hopping on the remakes of Broadway.
There's a lot of people doing a lot of cocaine.
Well, that's true.
It's just continuing thing.
Acid, like, I don't know what these people are on.
No, acid, you just like talk to God and like that's all. Crazy like
and
colors
you
and stuff.
Come up with Xenoblade and Xenogears.
Yeah.
But
you talk to God and then you kill God.
Yeah.
These guys are just
at least in my trip.
To me, I see this as hopping on the bandwagon of, let's make these these classic shows and these classic musicals into movies. It's been going on for years. You got West Side Story, Sweeney Todd was recently done.
Well, West Side Story makes sense.
Yep, Phantom of the Opera. Dear gosh, there's so many of them. Rent, yeah.
I really actually like that movie.
Rent,
I like the movie version a lot.
But like, here's the thing though, is with a lot of those movies, it wasn't just like, essentially when they did the movie, they made it make sense as a film, right? Yeah. Because it's, and that's the thing that gets me is like when a lot of places try and convert something over.
Rent has a cohesive story.
Yes.
Rent has a story. Cats does not really.
But it's like when there's a movie that I can't really decide that it wants to be a film and then ends up kind of being like, it might as well have been a recording of a stage performance. At that point, it becomes kind of why. And why,
the thing is, like, recordings of stage performances, oh my gosh, they're amazing. Like, just do that, dude. Legit, just do that. And it's so much better. Like, the Angela Lansbury version of Sweeney Todd is absolutely amazing.
Well, I guess to bring up my point was like if Disney had said we're going to remake The Lion King, and what they
Yeah.
did was they basically took recordings of the Broadway Lion King and then pushed that as a film and saying like, oh, this is our remade Lion King. Like that seems disingenuous, and that seems like this is the end result of what they're doing with Cats.
Yeah.
Like they could have, yeah. I mean, they could have just did it like a sort of Disney musical film and had just like all little meow meow cats running around everywhere talking and everything.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
I mean, it might not have gotten the quality might not have been above that of like any of say Air Bud movies or anything like that, but at least it would have been genuine to what it was trying to
I was gonna
set out
say
to do.
it would be no Homeward Bound.
I was trying to
but-
remember the name of the movie, and then it.
Yeah.
Homeward Bound, good movie. Milo and Otis, bad.
I don't remember.
I
agree.
Yeah, that was so Milo and Otis was made by a Japanese film studio.
Oh, so it was probably sick.
But it turns out like they engaged in like animal abuse and stuff like that to make the film.
I'm sure.
Like really egregious examples, and that's why I think it was that movie was part of the reason why there's like all standards now of working with animals and laws for working with animals.
I was gonna say that's why you have the thing at the end
that says no animals
says,
were harmed in the
"No
making of this
animals were
film.
harmed in the production of this film."
Yeah, because animals were harmed in the making of Milo and Otis.
Oof.
Yeah, oof.
Yeah.
Big oof.
Big oof.
Big oof. So anyway, let's stop talking about cats and talk
Yes.
about much more interesting things, like Top Gun 2.
I actually like one of my coworkers is really, really excited for this.
I am too. Number one thing out of Comic-Con for me. Right, just
so
barely in front of.
There's going to be some kind of shirtless volleyball scene, which is all Josh is waiting for.
You have to.
There
You
has
have to.
Yeah.
How can you not have a greased up dude's volleyball scene in a Top Gun movie?
Yep.
It is integral to the plot in some way. It has to be.
Yes, to the plot.
To the plot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh gosh.
And they better
That's
flip
like
and
why-
play playing with the boys. And they better get Kenny Loggins to do like remasters of his songs.
I was going to say, it's going to be really weird if they don't get Kenny Loggins to do part of the soundtrack because, like, I don't know.
I was so surprised when that.
Flashback.
I unironically flippin' loved the first Top Gun movie because I saw it when I was a kid and it's just
Oh, yeah.
stuck with me because I'm like, oh, jet fighters, it's awesome, it's rad, it's cool. And it's just like, even watching it now, I still really like that movie.
Yeah, and it's a good movie.
It's
For
a movie that knows exactly what it is.
It's a fun
Yes.
movie.
Yes.
Yes.
It's
I
a
think
fun
that's
movie.
Yes.
Fun and good is the same in my book.
It's
'Cause,
enjoyable to watch.
I mean, just because
In
story wise.
It's better than Citizen Kane. Take that.
So, but we see in the trailer, apparently Maverick has decided to just forego any promotions whatsoever.
Well, because then he wouldn't be able to fly. Gotta.
Maybe
You
I
don't
don't know.
fly if you're an admiral.
Actually,
Are they Navy pilots?
I don't know. Yeah, Navy. Yeah,
I think
Navy.
so because they
It
launch
is
off the
Navy.
decks of carriers. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and then the trailer's like, you should have been a 2-star admiral by now.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, dude. I just want to see jets flying around.
Yep.
I want to see greased up volleyball. I want him to sing "You Lost That Love and Feeling" in the bar.
Yep.
Prediction: Goose's son is gonna be his co-pilot and also die.
Oh, wow! Really?
I actually
Yes.
here's what I think the movie's going to be though. Seriously, I think the movie is going to be Maverick coming to terms with the fact that the military has fundamentally changed.
Oh yeah, that
And
there's
left
a
him
couple
behind.
lines where it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's
Oh, yeah.
obvious it's all drones now. It's not pilots anymore.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
yeah, I mean it's
And he's gonna do some sort of thing to prove that he's still relevant, and to prove that you still need actual pilots.
I don't know.
Yeah, so, yeah.
I mean, he'll
Well,
try to do it, but
that's the prediction.
That's
Maybe
the thing.
he
He's
won't.
gonna try.
Maybe he'll die.
I mean that's the maybe he'll try and ultimately fail, and then they'll be like, "Yep, see, that was a bad idea. Glad we use these drones now."
Who's the enemy gonna be?
Oh, I don't know.
They can't do Russia again, could they?
I mean,
Because they were always fighting Russian MiGs in
I mean,
the first one.
That's the thing. I don't know. I mean,
It'll be China. It would be like China or some shit.
maybe.
Yeah,
That's
my
it.
guess.
I think it'd be more interesting.
Because
Like
that's the
if-
only actual real threat right now.
I don't know. Like maybe
Russia's
there
not
isn't.
the superpower it was.
Maybe there is no like enemy or whatever, and it's just
wait, it's more slice of life.
themselves.
yeah.
Wait, it's more slice of life. Like this is what's just going on.
I could see them doing a slice of life movie,
Oh God, that'd be so boring.
or that
It's
there's
Top Gun. It's got to have.
or that it's I don't know, maybe it's like experimental aircraft, and
There is a scene where he's like, it looks like he's like got a spacesuit or a high altitude suit on, and they're putting him in something. So maybe he like has to like fly some experimental craft or something.
yeah.
The test pilot now.
He has to. Here's what it's gonna be. Got it. Here's my prediction.
Oh boy.
Okay.
So all the Kyles and everything invade Area 51. And Maverick
In their
has-
monster-fueled rage.
Yeah.
Busting
and
through
Maverick has
drywall.
to, take them out before they save all the aliens.
But that would be Air Force though. That wouldn't be Navy,
That is true. That is Air Force.
because that's an Air Force base, right?
True.
Yeah.
As far as we know,
I'm pretty sure it's an Air Force base.
I don't know. It could be anything.
It's a Space Force base.
Oh God.
Oh goodness.
That's as far as we'll get into that. But let's
Yep.
let's transition. Speaking of Space Force,
Space, yeah.
so Star Trek Picard, Captain Jean-Luc Picard coming back out of retirement. He was out of the game, and something pulls him back in. We see Commander Data dismantled in pieces. Apparently, he gave his life to save Captain Picard, or Admiral Picard, I think it is, in this series. We also see 7 of 9 from Voyager. So yeah,
I don't know.
I don't think he comes out of retirement. It looked like he was. I don't know. It looks like he was like on a random ship, like not a Starfleet ship.
I don't know.
I don't know much about Star
I know
Trek.
he's no longer. So at the time of the series, he is no longer a Starfleet officer.
Hmm.
And some event happened that caused him to not be a Starfleet officer.
We're gonna find out.
Oh yeah.
That'll
So here's the drawback: coming out for CBS All Access.
What's that, an online only thing?
It's
that's their
it's
streaming.
CBS's streaming service.
I'm not saying that there are other ways to watch shows on the internet. But there are definitely other ways to watch shows on the internet.
But there may be other ways. No, we are not endorsing anything of that.
Because I'm not down with this. I don't know. Every station or every company has their own streaming service, and
I hope
so
that if
dumb.
it does well, that they then release it out. Like that's my only hope.
I don't know if they will, because they didn't do it with
Even if-
Discovery.
Yeah. I don't know. Even if it's just like a direct to DVD type of thing.
What do they even show on their actual television station, if not that stuff?
Don't they have
I don't know what exists in television right now. But I can't imagine why you wouldn't put a show like that.
Well,
on.
there's was it Blind Spot? That's NBC, right?
I don't know.
Courtney,
Yeah.
I'm relying on you on this one.
Yes, Blind Spot is CBS. Sorry.
Oh, or did you mean NBC?
No, I think that they're actually.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
CBS.
I think.
Okay.
CBC.
I don't. No, I can't keep anything straight
BCC?
anymore.
BBC. CDC.
Yes, it's through the BBC. Absolutely.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't really pay attention a whole lot to network television at this point, but, yeah,
That just sounds like it'd be a big primetime show. I don't understand.
it should be
Blind Spot is NBC.
NBC.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love for them to put it on TV. It might actually get me to watch one of the major networks, but
Yeah.
I know Good Girls, I think, is coming back, I believe, and that's on, I think, ABC.
What the heck is that? even?
That's actually a really good show. It's kind of like Breaking Bad, but with a more comedic
Oh,
tone.
that's with the moms.
Yeah, it's basically a bunch of moms, and I think one of them, like, their kid gets sick, like really sick or something, and in order to pay for it, like pay for the treatment and everything, they start and so instead of drug dealing, burglary.
Oh.
And it's them just getting it over their head, kind of a thing. But it's really good, actually.
Good Girls is another
Just a
NBC.
documentary. Documentary. Why can't I say that word?
Documentary.
Documentary. Why do I want to say it weirdly like that?
I don't know.
Anyways, it's just a late stage capitalism.
100%.
Yeah.
But it's like, eventually they get into, like, doing fake returns, kind of a thing. Like that sort of scam, and like trying to build that up where they go in, like, steal stuff from like Walmart, and then go back like the next day and return it.
Sick.
Kind of a thing. So yeah. And it basically, like, the more stuff they do, the further things escalate, and they need more money to counteract, like, additional problems that have come up in order to do this. So it's a continuous spiral out of control. So but it's pretty good. It's pretty funny. I don't know what else really. Aside, I just know that and Blind Spot.
And both of those are NBC. Yeah.
Okay.
Never.
Because I know Supernatural's ending.
Yep.
Big Bang Theory's done.
Yep. Yeah, ABC has all of my doctor shows on it.
Oh, that's right. Grey's Anatomy is still on.
ABC has the
That's
Good
still
Doctor,
on?
It's still
Grey's
on.
Anatomy. It's still on.
Yeah.
God.
And that of course is the universal response to finding out that Grey's Anatomy is still on. It's it's still on? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been on forever. It's like Law and Order. Law and Order's still on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
NCIS.
This type of thing makes me lose hope in humanity that
Why?
people watch all this stuff and it just exists for so long.
Why?
It's so bad. So bad.
Have you watched it?
No.
I have.
Okay, then you can't say it's so bad.
Sure I can.
I love medical dramas. Most of my Hulu is medical.
I have
No
so many
joke.
problems with Grey's Anatomy. And I tell Megan every time she watches it, this hospital should just be called HR Disaster. Because that's what it is. General HR disaster.
Out of my I have 5 different medical dramas that I watch, guys.
Jesus.
God.
One of them is the classic ER, like original ER. Because that's
Yeah, but
all of
is that still on network television though?
No, it's all on
No.
Hulu.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, no, Chicago Med, New Amsterdam, The Good Doctor, and there's one other.
Doogie Howser.
The Resident. No, I already watched through Doogie Howser.
Oh, not even that. So not only is Grey's Anatomy still on, they then made a spin-off show.
Yes.
About the fire department that brings victims to Grey's Anatomy or to the hospital.
What the hell?
So it's like
the Chicago's.
It's
Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, Chicago Med.
Yeah.
All of those do big crossover events. It's Dick Wolf likes to put all of his worlds together.
Is that the guy's? Is that guy's name?
That's the guy that makes Law and Order.
Dick Wolf.
He also
Yes.
He also
That
does
is
the
a powerful
Chicago's.
name.
Yeah.
He also does the Chicago's.
Wow.
Okay.
That guy must be awesome.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean,
so all
he's
of
been
the
in the
Law and
business
Orders-
forever.
Yeah,
It's
all
just
of the
his
Law and
name.
Orders are all linked together.
Dick Wolf.
All of the Chicago's, so Chicago Med, Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, like those are all linked together.
I've never heard of any of those shows.
You've heard of Law and Order?
Law and Order, but not any of those Chicago things you said.
I remember them vaguely at one point.
Yeah.
But anyway,
again, more medical dramas for Courtney.
Moving on.
Yes.
We got a trailer for A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
It made me cry.
Which we have Tom Hanks playing Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks. So at this point, Tom Hanks has played Walt Disney.
Yep.
Mr. Rogers.
Yep.
And there was one more individual that he played.
Wonderfully wholesome.
Yeah. I can't remember what, but
I mean, on top of being Woody.
Yeah.
He's also in a movie in the 80s about like a D&D.
Yeah, we don't talk about mazes and monsters.
Is that what it's called?
That's what it's called. Yeah, that movie is a travesty for both tabletop RPGs and people with mental illness. So yeah, we don't talk about it.
Amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, so Mr. Rogers movie should be pretty good. I know he does kind of character studies like that very well.
Yeah, it looks so good. And
Yeah.
I'm excited about the storyline too. Because it's like this guy is like interviewing him. So it's not just following Mr. Rogers through making Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. It's more of a look back on everything that he's done, which I think is a little bit of a look back.
It's good. It seems like a weird concept.
I think of it more of like an interview type of thing.
Which seems kind of weird.
The Titanic is entirely an interview.
I guess. Huh.
But I mean, I see it as probably
Interview with a vampire.
Not
Yeah.
that type. No, but it's this guy though. It's this guy doing a story on Mr. Rogers and kind of following him around. So I'm assuming it's going to have some flashbacks of, this is how this happened, or,
I just think it seems kind of weird for a theatrical movie to come out kind of so soon after there was like a big documentary about Mr. Rogers.
Yeah. Mr. Rogers is hot right now.
So, and then Watchmen from HBO. So this looks like it's kind of a weird like after. I don't know if it actually ties in with the movie or something, but it looks like it takes the themes of Watchmen and kind of updates them to the 21st century with a lot of stuff that's going on. Kind of some really weird imagery of like the cops all wear yellow masks, like full body masks, so that you don't see their faces. And now there's like a Rorschach like cult, I guess you could call it.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah. Really, really
interesting.
Weird.
It might be maybe it's like the storyline is people discovering the truth about what happens at the end of Watchmen.
Yeah, because I mean they do say because Dr. Manhattan's on Mars, which I think that happens at the end of the movie, right? That he just leaves and goes to Mars.
Spoilers for a graphic novel that's been out for 30 years and a movie that's been out for like 10.
Yeah.
So basically at the end, Ozymandias, like in the comic book, he summons a big squid tentacle monster into New York City so that like the world has to band together to deal with it. And that's like, we'll make world peace because everybody will have to, it's worth it to sacrifice everybody in the city if the whole world works together and becomes peaceful afterwards. In the movie, I forget what it was, like a nuke or something. Or
something like that.
Same thing. Like destroy the city for the sake of humanity to bind together and be peaceful. And like, that's the whole, like Rorschach's like, no, I'm going to go tell the truth about this. And Dr. Manhattan kills him to stop him because Manhattan's like, Ozymandias, even though he's wrong, is kind of right in some way.
Yeah.
So maybe it's, and at the end of the movie, and I can't there's like Rorschach had already sent something out because he had already figured it out, and it's like sitting at the bottom of a pile in a journalist's like thing.
Yeah.
So maybe I think that this is going to be like people kind of somebody's found this out, and that's what Rorschach's cult is going to be. And
and they actually show in the trailer something about it. It's like something involving Dr. Manhattan's mentioned, and you see like this guy in a trench coat kind of walking along, and you see like a blue hand come down and like pick up like a Dr. Manhattan mask and look at it or whatever. So it's like he's back. Looks like it has Jeremy Irons, so that's definitely a plus.
That'll be fun.
I don't know who he plays, but I mean, just his presence alone is probably worth watching. Are you looking it up right now?
No, I was looking up something else.
Oh, okay. Are you looking up the circa 2000 Dungeons and Dragons movie?
No.
Why? No, you don't want to subject yourself to
I
that.
was thinking of good actors in bad movies. When you said Jeremy Irons.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking of there's another trailer that HBO is doing another show, is Dark Materials.
Oh, I haven't heard about this one.
Wow. Yeah, another trailer came out for it. Have you ever read Philip Pullman's trilogy, his Dark Materials?
Nope.
Golden Compass.
Oh, you know what? I did see this trailer. That's right. I forgot to put it in here. So, the funny thing was, I didn't realize that was the title of the book, and I went like, "Oh, Polar Bear Wearing Armor. That's Golden Compass or whatever." And then I was like watching the trailer, and I'm like, "These guys just like steal stuff from Golden Compass?"
His Dark Materials is the name of the trilogy.
Yeah.
Golden Compass is the first book, also known as Northern Lights.
Yes.
So they're actually going to keep doing.
So
they already came out with.
No, this is totally start over.
A retelling of the story.
Original movie is kind of bad.
Reset.
It's not good. Because I was looking, and so Lin-Manuel Miranda's in this.
Yep.
And he's playing like the cowboy, like hot air balloon guy. I forget the character's name. But Sam Elliott played him in the first one, and that's pretty much how you imagine him in the book. Like stereotypical cowboy. And Sam Elliott's just the guy.
Yeah.
For that.
Yes.
So that's what I was looking up.
The one, the only.
But who else is in this? Who's the new guy? Who's new Xavier?
James McAvoy.
Yeah, he's in it.
Yep.
The girl from Logan is Lyra. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember
actress's name because she hardly says a word in the movie.
Yeah.
In Logan. But yeah, I am somewhat interested in this because I really, really love those books a lot. So much so, in fact, I made my 6th graders read
nice.
Golden Compass this school year. Actually, I had to argue for it in the district to get it added to the list of books that we can read in 6th grade.
Yep.
So yeah, that's how much and how important I think that series of books is for adolescent readers. Yeah. So I'll be interested to see that take on it. I don't know. Up in the air because I'm not completely confident they'll do a good job in it, but we'll see. It'd be worth a look for me anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this wasn't necessarily a trailer, but we got a poster for the new season of DuckTales. Apparently they're doing a big, like, all the villains are banding together, and Scrooge is going to have to find all sorts of people to help fight all these different villains, including we're going to get Darkwing Duck. Looks like we're going to get Baloo and Kit. We're going to get Chip and Dale.
Yeah!
They're probably get a whole bunch of other Disney after. We're going to get the 3 Caballeros.
Really?
It's like it's
that
like
was one of my favorite movies.
The second biggest crossover event in
maybe we'll
Disney
get a
history.
new Tailspin show out of this.
Oh, I hope so. I don't know if we will, but
we've had this conversation before. But I really loved that show when I was a kid.
Tailspin was great. Rescue Rangers was great.
I'm really
I remember watching both
the
of those.
3 Caballeros. like being involved in that.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite movies as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Because of all the music and the colors and the
Yep.
and the stories.
Three Cabbie. I don't know that. What is it?
It's a story. It's a movie that basically takes Donald and he meets the three caballeros, and you learn about different
I thought Donald was one of the three caballeros.
ish. I think that he got caught up with them and turned into. But anyway, and it's basically though it's a whole bunch of different little mini stories about different. I can't remember if it's just South American and Central and South American though different stories. So it's all sorts of different little shorts kind of strung together. It's adorable.
It's not
All
a
I can
new
think
property.
of
No,
is,
it's not new. It is not new.
I don't know why, but it makes me think of the Three Amigos. Anybody remember that movie?
100%.
Awesome. One of my favorite childhood movies.
Yeah.
Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Chevy Chase.
Yep.
I haven't watched that since I was probably like 8 or 9 years old.
I could see them doing kind of a combo Three Amigos, Three Caballeros vibe with these characters in the new DuckTales series. Because Sam Riegel is one of the writers, I think. Yeah. He has written several episodes for DuckTales.
Emmy award-winning
Sam Riegel.
Yeah.
Emmy award-winning Sam Riegel.
He in fact wrote the episode where it was just like all My Little Pony spoofs, where the ponies were in fact Kelpies trying to murder everybody. Yeah. Oh, it was great. And they actually got Tara Strong to come in and voice one of the ponies. It was fantastic.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah. They were just like, come into the water. It's nice. We're totally not going to drown you. And then eat your flesh. But yeah, so I'm super stoked for that. So yeah. Then as far as Marvel, a lot of Marvel news. Both on the TV and the movie front. So they kind of outlined the entirety of Phase 4. So we knew some of it already, but we got titles for everything, as well as a little bit more information on some of the movies. So just to give a quick rundown, Black Widow, The Eternals, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Thor, Love and Thunder, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, WandaVision, Loki, What If, Hawkeye, and Blade.
All techno music intensifies for Blade.
Yep. Blade having the distinction of being one of the Marvel properties that Fox kind of got right. So, but yeah, no, Blade's going to be in the MCU now, and so as Josh predicted, Thor: Love and Thunder is going to be a story about Jane Foster wielding the hammer. I am legitimately astonished that they got Natalie Portman to come back and play Jane Foster.
Same.
As a lead character. But
well, I mean, now you have a good writer director.
Well, and it's also Perlmutter is no longer in charge of that division.
Yeah.
Apparently, that was part of the reason for a lot of stuff. And then Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is apparently going to be branded as a horror film.
Ooh.
So I'm like, oh, horror wizards? Oh, that's like right up Josh's alley. Maybe he goes to Ravenloft.
Maybe do like a cosmic. Maybe they mean like cosmic horror.
I think that's what it would be.
Yeah,
because that would fit Doctor Strange.
Because horror doesn't really fit Doctor Strange. Cosmic horror very much fits Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I mean, especially when it's called Multiverse of Madness. Like, yeah. I don't think it's gonna be like a grotesque kind of horror so much as like maybe a psychological.
It's gonna
thriller,
be a psychological
maybe.
Thriller. More silence
with cosmic horror elements to it. I think that's the way I would do it.
Who's the
Doctor Strange.
Who's the bad guy in the first Doctor Strange?
Dormammu.
Well, who was the guy? I know Dormammu, but who was the?
Who's the actor?
No, the guy, like the blonde guy, that was like the bad guy for most of the movie until the very end.
Oh, I don't remember.
I don't recall.
That's how forgettable he was.
Yep. I just know they're also setting it up so that I can't remember his name, but one of the other sort of wizards at the temple then left because the ancient didn't uphold the standards that he thought should be held. And so now it's implied that he was going to leave and then like start hunting down wizards and stuff like that because they can't be trusted with all that power. So yeah. But yeah. So I'm looking forward to Blade. See how that turns out.
I'm looking forward to Disney Plus to come out so I can get a Loki.
Yep. One thing to note, Loki's logo is all the letters are taken from existing titles. So it's literally Loki's logo is just other logos like stolen and patched together.
It's like a ransom note.
Yeah, very much so. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen with that. Also, how it kind of fits with what happened in the MCU. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm extremely excited for Loki, because I want to see how does this resolve? How did that resolve? What's going on?
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. So.
Only thing I care about off that list is Thor.
Yeah. And confirmed, Thor: Love and Thunder is the Thor 4 that Taika Waititi is directing.
Yep.
So I think we might get the big Thorbowski in that film.
I wonder if they'll use.
I believe I saw something about Valkyrie also being in Thor 4.
I mean,
well, sure. I mean, she's essentially ruler of Asgard.
Yes, I'm all about this. Like, I love Valkyrie.
Just because I don't want. What's the end of Thor's like arc at the end of Endgame? Like,
he goes off with the Guardians.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the storyline.
Valkyrie to run New Asgard.
Right. So the storyline in the Mighty Thor, which is the female Thor run, is Nick Fury whispers something to Thor, and that makes him like become unworthy to wield the hammer anymore. And that's when Jane Foster picks it up.
Oh, that's weird.
So basically what it is Nick Fury says like no gods are worthy of whatever. He basically makes Thor doubt himself so much that he becomes unworthy. And so a lot of it is Thor's like self-doubt that he's worthy to wield the hammer anymore.
But he's already done the am I worthy?
Yeah, they kind
That's
of.
what I mean.
So
they
here's...
really covered that. Like,
but
I cried.
Ragnarok isn't about the hammer; it's about him not needing the hammer for his powers.
I got it.
Talking about Ragnarok.
I got this. So here's the thing, right? They have. So in Endgame, so this is gonna be a little bit of spoilers or whatever, but
it's been out for a while.
Due to how stuff happened, is Thor now has Mjolnir and Stormbreaker. He's got both the hammer and the axe. It could just be that he's just like, well, I don't need the hammer. Here, oh, Jane, you've returned. Oh, here's a hammer.
Well, here's the deal with Jane in the book.
He passed it off to Cap too, but
the deal with why one of the reasons why Jane wields it in the book is because she has cancer and she's literally dying terminally.
Okay.
And when she wields the hammer and turns into Thor, it kind of staves it off for a while.
Yeah.
and makes her somewhat invulnerable to it.
Cancer.
Yeah, and whenever she doesn't, she just is bedridden in the hospital. So maybe they'll, like, since Thor has both, maybe she's dying or something, and she's like, well, you can use this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, yeah, because we've already covered the MI World arc.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, it doesn't line up because it happened after the whole Secret Wars arc in the comics, which was a big, huge crossover thing, like reality shifting, changing story for the whole Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because I cried a little when Thor was still, like, that was big. I mean, I cried a lot during Endgame in general, so.
Maybe it's because I never watched Mr. Rogers, why I'm devoid of emotion.
Seriously, man.
I didn't either, though.
Seriously, man.
But
Mr. Rogers taught us love and acceptance.
But yeah, I have to say, I would be interested to see the Doctor Strange movie. Definitely want to see the Thor movie. Interested to see Blade.
As I said, I'm looking forward to Disney Plus when all of this comes out.
I kind of want to see Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Because that seems like it could be really interesting. Because I don't know anything about the character.
I don't know anything about it either.
And yeah, I kind of feel like I've seen this complaint before, but of just that, like, to do a Black Widow series now, or like even a film now, like, feels like too little, too late.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, it's
so.
That was one that I saw, and I'm like, really.
Yeah.
You did this to us.
Yeah.
Like, that's not okay.
Also, Hawkeye. That's an odd choice.
Yeah.
I'll never forgive the Japanese.
Apparently. Like, it was so weird, like, for him to, I guess, like everyone expected, like, yeah, he turns into, like, a super, dark vigilante kind of a thing, but, like, why did he go to Japan? Like, there would be plenty of crime to solve in the United States still. So, I don't know. But yeah, that is going to wrap up the news for this week.
Yes.
So, why don't we talk about what's going on with 8-Bit Adventures? All right, so streams, we have Moonlighter, was both last week and this week for 8-Bit Adventures Game Night. I'm still really enjoying that game. So this week's Game Night stream going to be Desert Dungeon. And basically, the further you get in the game, the more money you generate. So, and it's just building this, like, merchant engine. So, like, I've got a shop assistant, so now, like, I can just tell her to sell stuff. She takes a cut, but that basically gives me more time to go out adventuring. And then upgraded bed. So, like, now, when you go back to town, you get, like, more temporary hit points, and, like, you actually negate, like, a bunch of attacks. Like, the first 3 attacks I ignore against me, kind of a thing. Yeah. So that's still pretty fun. So, yeah. As far as the art streams, still doing commissions. The next one is going to be the next commission, which is a sort of brewery logo still for my friend Mike. So, so we'll be doing that. That'll be less color work because it's just a line work commission. So,
yeah.
So we may do either variations of it, kind of a thing, or something to make sure that full time is used. So just a general reminder, only 4 followers short of my goal of 50 followers. So if you know somebody that might be interested in the channel, let them know, tell them about it, and get them to follow. Scott.
Wow.
Call them out. Why don't you?
100%. You know who you are. As far as the podcast,
you know who you are. You know what you haven't done.
As far as the podcast, Berkshire Bites came out this week. Megan and I went to Shire Brew House.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. We had some of their mustard cheese. So if you don't know what that is, go listen to that episode. You have it with pretzels.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a nice little. It's another example of kind of that sort of industrial look that places have, given that this is in a refurbished factory. So we're hoping to go to a bunch of places that don't have that aesthetic, so that kind of change things up a bit. Which I know, good luck in Berkshire County, right? But
yeah. As long as the power doesn't go out.
Yeah. So, but no, it's a nice place. And they have like a nice little seating area, for either when you're waiting or if you're going to like listen to music or do trivia or something. It's like all like big, nice, comfy couches that are separate from like the dining area. So you can like get a drink and then go sit down there and do that. And then Friday, Tales of Jamora: The Kraken's Wake comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Super excited.
What shenanigans will we get into?
What boss are they gonna fight next, folks? Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Well, hopefully this time we'll actually fight it rather than, I don't know.
You just want to smash, don't you? You just want to smash things.
Yes. He just wants to smash.
Yes, yes. On more than one level. Sure.
Rated E for everyone, folks.
Watch your phrasing.
Moving along.
Yeah.
So,
let me smash.
Are we not doing phrasing anymore?
So as far as the comics, 8-Bit Adventures, Chapter 3, Comic 7, came out this week. Decided to kind of reinforce the fact that this is a comic about video games, like, and video game characters and everything. So, I mean, it would probably be the case if you're going to do some kind of world-shattering event and something gets released, that would probably drop in a patch. Maybe not necessarily with like an old school cartridge game, but like these days, they would patch something in.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So Krakatoa has been released. Patch 3.0 of 8-Bit Adventures. And then Speedy and Monty comic. So patrons, go check that out. And if you want to go see comics about Speedy and Monty, you can become a patron at patreon.com/8-Bit Adventures.
Yeah, it's so worth it. Literally, as you've said before, Sean, even just $1 a month, absolutely worth it.
I was gonna say you cut out for like half of that, Courtney.
Oh yeah, no, Speedy and Monty comics, totally worth like 100%, and it's you get them at only $1 a month. You can't beat it.
Among other things, but mostly Speedy and Monty. So.
But yeah, on top of everything else, you get Speedy and Monty.
Yeah, and sometimes the stories are true. So. That's going to wrap up kind of the 8-Bit Adventures wrap up for the week. So let's move on to Quest Log. Courtney, what have you been up to this past week? What have you been playing?
Well, between the 3-day-long panic attack stop working and having to get a new one, last week, I've just been playing Stardew and trying to do schoolwork.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, no, 3 days of heightened anxiety because my phone died after podcast last week.
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah.
that was I don't want to have to do that again.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to do that again. That was not pleasant.
Yeah.
In any way, shape, or form. But
so.
Yeah, I've just been playing Stardew to kind of,
What have you been tackling in Stardew Valley?
Where
are you at?
the
So
townspeople.
I am
Tackling
playing
them.
on my Critical Role one.
Okay.
My
All right.
Critical Role farm.
Yeah.
And I am working on, because I'm stuck in summer, so I can't do a lot of things because I have to wait till fall for the community center. So I'm getting to know people and doing all of the gifting
Yeah.
and like yeah, that's the big one is I'm getting those hearts up on people.
Okay.
Going around
Okay.
tracking down everybody every day, giving them all gifts like 2 days a week and making sure I'm giving everybody their favorite gift. Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of where I am right now because I only have the rest of summer and fall and winter to be able to uh, do Grandpa's evaluation, and I want to do as good as I can on that first try.
I was gonna say,
So
you can always get reevaluated, right?
yes,
Okay.
yes, I want to do as good as I can
Yeah.
on his evaluation.
Yeah.
Because I do know that I can just pay a diamond and he'll reevaluate day, and
Yeah.
yeah, yes, I do know that.
Okay.
But it would be nice to not have to have him to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Josh,
Yes.
what have you been up to?
Oh, you know, a lot of team fight tactics.
Yep.
Just trying to climb out of ELO hell. Actually, I'm not doing that bad. I'm in Gold League, and I don't play that often. I play a few matches a day before I get angry and have to walk away for a while.
Have you been banned?
No.
Okay. All right.
I don't
Hey, there
talk.
you go.
I don't type. No.
Imperius's reach has not transcended games and reached into TFT.
Not yet. Not yet.
Yep.
Another patch just came out today, fixing quote unquote some stuff.
Okay. So like a
we'll
balance
see.
hotfix.
Yeah, we'll see, because there was a meta that was just kind of insane, and
Mhm.
there were a couple compositions that were just stomping everything, and almost nothing you could do about it.
Yep.
But I think that's just changed it to that now there's just a new composition that's going to stomp everything, because
That's how it goes.
I mean, you fix one and you bring up 3.
Yeah, which is slowly eating away at me, because I hate that I can't just do fun stuff sometimes, and there's a lot of stuff I can't do that's not viable. But I'm also not that great at the game, so that's why I'm only Gold League. So that, and on Saturday after a D&D session, I was like, oh yeah, the Marvel game came out yesterday. So I went to GameStop and I was like, you got it? They're like, no. And then he's like, actually, yes.
Oh.
Actually, yes. Someone just canceled their pre-order.
Why doesn't that surprise?
So I got the last one.
Nice.
And I've been playing that a little bit here and there.
What do you think of it?
It's fun. It's good. It's a fine game. It's not a 10. It's not a 2.
Yeah.
It's a solid 7.5.
Yeah. Coincidentally, it got a 7. It got a 7.8 on IGN.
Is that what it got? Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, it's kept me entertained.
It's half the battle right there.
It's basically a beat 'em up. It's a beat 'em up for all intents and purposes, when it has some RPG elements in it. So, and there's a huge roster of characters to choose from, which is cool for me.
Apparently,
because there aren't that many that I like. So
no Gambit.
No, that's okay. I don't have my X-Men team yet, but that's okay. My main team is Wolverine, obviously, number 1 always. Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, because I love her in that book. I think it's great. Venom, because Venom's way more rad than Spider-Man ever is.
These are all on brand for Josh.
And I did have Spider-Man Peter Parker in there as my 4th, but I just got Deadpool.
Yep.
So Deadpool has filled my number 4 slot right now. The story in the game is it's Infinity Stones.
Yep.
Don't let Thanos get them.
Don't let Thanos get those Infinity Stones.
Okay. It's basically just a different telling of the Infinity Stone story.
Yep.
Which is fine. It's just an excuse to fight all the villains
Yeah.
and bash baddies, which is fine for me because I just like to be Wolverine and dash across the screen, corkscrewing and destroying everything with my claws. It's fun. It's the art style's very cartoonish. It's not hyper detailed, which is fine. It works for me because I'm not paying that much attention to it really, unless there's cutscenes. There's usually so much going on the screen with like abilities and stuff.
Yeah.
So every character has 4 different abilities. You can do like team up attacks.
Yep.
So your ability will have a certain quality to it, and if you hold the left I call it trigger, but I think it's LZ on, or like RZ on the Switch. I call it the right trigger, whatever.
I think that would be the right trigger.
Yeah, that's whatever. The right trigger button and your ability, and one of your teammates is near you, and their ability has the same whatever type. Like you'll do a team up.
Yep.
Which is cool. And then you got a super gauge. When your super gauge builds up, you hit your L and R buttons, the shoulder buttons at the same time. You do super move. You can hit it 4 times if everybody's got their meter up. So all 4 of you could do your super moves at the same time.
Whoa.
And it's just a mess
Yep.
of graphics and spell effects on the screen. So I usually use that on bosses. So like bosses have a stagger bar, and you got to get that down before you can actually do actual damage to them.
Yep.
Okay.
For the most part, you can do a little bit of damage to them through the stagger, but not a lot. To really hurt them, you have to get their stagger down. So it's usually
like
you work
paying
on
off
getting
the
the
interest
stagger
on the
down,
loan.
and then it's like boom, 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 boom. You hit all your big moves, or you do your link moves and stuff like that. Deadpool's only reason for joining this fight was, so at one point you're fighting at the X-Men mansion.
Yeah.
Xavier's school for gifted youngsters. And as you're like fighting through, Juggernaut's like plowing through walls, chasing you through hallways, and you run through the dining room where, like, as you're going through the level, you occasionally hear Deadpool singing about tacos. And you go into the room, and there's a little cutscene, and he's just like making tacos while Juggernaut's bashing through everything. And then at one point, he bashes through this tower of tacos Deadpool builds, and Deadpool's like, "That's it."
Now I'm mad.
And it's the only reason he joins the fight at all. It's
because
great.
they destroyed his tower of tacos.
100%.
On brand.
That's
Maximum
legit. That
effort.
is so on brand.
Yeah, there's 36 characters at launch.
Yeah.
On this game, there's a lot. So another thing is, depending on your team, so they'll have different titles or groups they belong to, and you'll get different bonuses for having, like, say you have all X-Men on a team, you'll get an X-Men bonus. I've got Wolverine and Deadpool and Venom. That's all they all get an anti-hero bonus.
Yep.
I think there's a bunch. So there's 3 different Spider people.
Yeah.
Spider-Gwen, Miles Morales, and Peter Parker.
Yep.
And Venom. So you could have an all Spider-Man team, I guess, if you wanted.
Can you have a Revengers team? Not an Avengers team, but a Revengers team.
Who's the Revengers?
That would be Thor, Hulk.
Yeah, you could have Thor. You could
Valkyrie.
have Hulk. No Valkyrie.
Well, yeah. And then, I mean, it was just the 3 of them in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, and Loki. But Loki, I think, would be a villain in the game.
Loki is in the game. You can get Loki. Either he's a DLC or you unlock him somehow.
Oh, okay.
Or he's just in it.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Loki's in it. You can get him. Yeah, it's got Daredevil. Iron Fist is in it.
Yep.
Who's one of the other 4 from the...
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage is in it.
Or do they call him Power Man?
Playable. They're all playable. Luke Cage he's called Luke Cage in it. Jessica Jones isn't playable, but she's in the game as an NPC.
Okay.
At one point, she's like guiding you through a level and giving you like, "Oh, I got a tip from like a source," and blah blah blah. And she's like, "This whole like world saving thing's not really for me. I kind of just focus on New York."
Yeah.
She's like, "This is for you guys, but I'll tell you where to go." Who else? There's a lot. There's a lot of characters, and there's going to be more.
Yes,
there's a bunch of
DLC.
There's a free DLC right on launch that had some characters.
Yeah, and there's a season pass.
there's a $20 season pass where you get new levels and new characters. They announced Marvel Knights, so Moon Knight, Punisher,
Yep.
and a couple others who I don't know. But if Punisher comes out, he'll get on my team. He'll probably take whose spot is he going to take?
Who are you going to get rid of then?
He'll probably take Deadpool's spot. I like Punisher more than Deadpool.
Okay.
So yeah, my team. I really, like I said, Wolverine will never leave my team. I really like Miss Marvel.
Nice.
And I'm partial to Venom. Venom could come or go. I could take or leave Venom, but I like him. But yeah. So yeah.
Do they do things where like some characters are like support characters and some are like tank characters, or are they all just pretty much like just straight up brawling DPS characters?
It feels like everything's offensive based.
Okay.
So I will say, like, Spider-Man has obviously involves webs, so some of his moves like hold people in place.
Yeah.
So there's some control and support in regards to that. There might be other ones that maybe do some healing or some other support stuff. I don't know about.
I just know because I was getting ads for both. Like on Instagram and everything, I was often getting like stats and stuff confused with, I think it's Marvel Strike Force. Is like the idle game for Marvel, or maybe it's like a brawler on mobile or something like that. But it does that where it's like Groot's like a support character, and Hulk's like a tank character kind of a thing.
I think they definitely like, so there's 5 stats that everybody has.
Yeah.
There's strength, energy, resistance, and there's 2 vitality and some other one, another defensive one. But nothing. Yeah. So some characters are like a little better or have a naturally higher stat in some of those things than others.
Yeah.
And all characters have some type of passive too. Like Wolverine's got passive healing over time, just because the healing factor, obviously. So does Deadpool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, but everything's mostly focused on just doing damage and beating things up. And some character, like, because they force you to play Guardians of the Galaxy for the first level, as an introduction. So like Peter Quill can fly because he's got instead of a double jump, he can fly around.
Yeah.
Like Wolverine just has a double jump. All the spider people have they swing around. When they do their double jump, they do web slinging. So everything's a little bit different, but I'll say that a lot of the abilities and everything essentially feel very samey across characters. The only difference being that some of them are like, when I was playing against Peter Quill, it's like obviously he's ranged. He's basically all guns.
Yep.
Whereas Wolverine's like obviously melee. Claws. Yeah. So that's the only big difference I've felt between, other than.
Okay.
So what else is there? There's like a lot of, so in addition to the main story, there's all these like trials and stuff you can do. They're like little challenges and ways that you can unlock different outfits and stuff like that. And there's experience cubes you can use to like get extra experience and stuff like that. So did that say I had to go get my oil change. So while I was waiting for that, I brought my Switch with me and sat in the lobby and did a bunch of challenges. I busted out like 6 or 7 of the challenges, and so yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a game that's just fun. If you want to be a Marvel superhero or a group of Marvel superheroes and just bash baddies, and that's all you want to do. It's I've played on it gives you friendly or mighty difficulty off the bat. I picked the mighty difficulty because that seemed like normal. Friendly seemed too easy. So I haven't hit a game over yet, but it's been some close calls. Some of the bosses are kind of tough.
I've heard that
there's a bit of a challenge on some of the bosses.
Friendly is pretty much you can like spam attacks, the whole game, and kind of, it's kind of like if you're playing for the story and you don't really want to think about strategy or whatever. But then Mighty is like you have to think more about the strategic element. Yes
and no. Even Mighty doesn't feel very difficult. Granted, I've leveled up my main team to be maybe a bit over leveled for the story right now because I've done a lot of like the challenges on the side.
Yeah.
and got some extra XP.
There's
But
also
even
another.
then, some of the bosses are tough. And then there's a superior. Once you beat the game, there's superior that basically start at level 40.
Yeah.
So yeah. I haven't gotten through the story yet because I've kind of been taking my time and just playing here and there because I've been playing more TFT.
Yeah.
And I've been preparing for my hike in a couple weeks too and getting ready for that. And the other thing I played, I played some Magic the Gathering last night with some friends. First time I've played some MTG in like a year. So yeah, a friend texted me. He was like, "Hey, you want to come over and play some Magic?" I was like, "Yeah, you know what? I haven't done that in a while." So I went and played, got my butt kicked mostly, and it was fine. It worked.
That's why these days when I play Magic with folks, it's either Commander or what we do is we take like the whole collection and we'll shuffle it up and we'll do a draft.
Essentially what we did what is called drafting a cube. So a cube is a specific selection of an assortment of cards.
Okay.
So it's kind of just like a random set number of cards, but there's also a lot more that goes into it because there's lots of different types of cubes. You can have a cube be like geared towards certain things. But you have like, I don't know, probably several hundred different cards in your cube. And it can be commons and rare, it can be whatever. But there goes a lot of thought into life because a lot of weird interactions will happen. So yeah, we drafted a cube and we made some decks and I played white-red, played Boros essentially, and it just wasn't fast enough. Because I don't have the big brain power to play blue or any of that stuff. I don't want to think that hard when I play. I just want to attack and do aggro. So
Gruel. That's what you want.
I just want red. I want red. I want things that cost 1 and have haste, and I can do damage before they can even get their board set up.
So Gruel is red-green, and their thing is Bloodthirst. So it's when you deal damage.
Nope.
Like if you deal damage in a turn and then play stuff, that stuff comes with +1/+1 counters on it. Yeah.
Nope. Too slow. I want red, white, small creatures very fast, overwhelm them quickly before they can do anything. And then blast them with red spells and control them with like white spells to exile cards and tap stuff. And that's about as hard as I want to think. I don't want to think about all these weird interactions that like blue and black and green have and all this techie stuff. It's just not. I'm not on that level.
Green doesn't have an awful lot of interactions.
With blue, it can. And
well,
black.
Yeah, if you're playing Simic or Golgari, sure. But just straight
There's
green.
A lot of, particularly, well, none of us were playing a straight color. I mean, you can't.
Green-red.
You got to go multicolor to.
Big green creatures and big red spells.
Not bad. Yeah. Not a bad idea. It might have worked. And it was weird because I kind of just forgot like what you can and can't do at certain times.
Yeah.
So like the first couple matches, I was just trying to.
You were just remembering how to play.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, when can I it's the end of my turn. What can I do at the end of my turn? I can play a land. Can I I just forgot the order of the phases and like what you can do during each one. And then after I was like, oh yeah, I kind of remember now. And then just like you get into like the stack and when you're countering spells and like I respond to this and then like, okay, what's the order that this stuff happens in?
Yeah.
Like, does this hit the battlefield first and then this and then like does this effect happen?
Well, now the fact that combat damage no longer goes in the stack is just weird. Yeah.
Like I said, I don't have the big brain power to be an elite Magic player. I just play for funsies now.
Yep.
But it was nice to play a little bit.
That's why I have
1 in the morning. It was like, ugh.
That's why I have 3 commander decks. One of which being dinosaurs and one of which being pirates.
Yeah, my commander decks are still somewhere.
Yeah. Well,
that's the only thing I have left. But yeah, that's what
I understood about every third word you guys were saying.
Yeah. And then finishing up reading
I heard you fine.
Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb. And,
nice.
You would probably really like it.
Yeah, we've talked about this. Yeah.
Maybe I'll let you borrow it because it's all sailors and pirates. It's all that. So
I have decided that I am saving what is it? The Wise Man's Fear?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna save that for the honeymoon. And that way I will just have time to just sit down and read it in one sitting, which is basically what happened as much as I could with the first book.
Wow.
That's why I read it in like 2 days.
I'm not a big one-sitting. I'm not a one-sitting person.
It's just like I can't stop. I can't put it down.
Wow.
I must consume more.
Wow, I liked it, but not that much.
Give it to me. I will eat it like a big juicy steak.
I don't think I've ever encountered a book where I had to sit and just read the whole thing in one sitting.
That is most books that I read.
That's just
I can't put them down.
Usually read an hour a day every day. That's usually my thing before I go to bed.
So, and then I booted up Civ 6 since we're able to play it on the computer now. So that was kind of the big detractor for why we weren't able to play it previously, is neither Megan nor I had a computer capable of playing it, really. So played it this time, and now that I actually got a handle on things, I enjoyed it. It's definitely a bit of a learning curve if you're used to Civ 5 in particular. And then especially because so many civilization abilities changed.
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm glad that I started Civ playing with Civ 6.
Yeah.
You were telling me that before, where it's big change if you're used to the other rule set.
Yeah. So I played as England on kind of a standard map.
Oof.
And
recent news coming out of that country. Oof.
Yeah, we don't talk about politics here.
Funny enough, I won with a culture victory. So yeah,
off brand.
Yeah. But yeah. So interestingly enough, England still remains that domination and warfare is like the best way to win with that Civ. But now it really ratchets it up so that culture is like your second best method for victory, and England's really good at it. And what's funny is a lot of their like military stuff is on the culture track toward economics. So it's like you have this weird England gets where they're going by just doing lots of trade routes everywhere. And you just settle cities away from your home city on your own continent. You want to go to other continents and set up colonies.
I was gonna say if it's England, it better be colonial.
Yeah, because what you do is their ability is when you settle a city on another continent, you get a free melee unit in that city when it's founded, and it's of the highest like tech level that you get. So. Common strategy is to like make a beeline to get redcoats, which are just past musketmen. Or I think they're the replacement for musketmen, but they're much more powerful to the point that like they might also they can replace infantry, which are considered like modern era melee units. And so what you do is like you make a beeline to get there. And then you just start settling everywhere, and you just get free redcoats, which are very powerful when away from the home continent. But yeah, so yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty fun. It was the second game that I played. The first game didn't go so well. I was still trying to play like I don't really want to spread out or whatever, so I'm just gonna do like my 2 cities. And do like what's known as a tall strategy, where you do a few really big, powerful cities as opposed to spreading out and doing like lots of smaller, like a whole slew of smaller cities to like just gain land grabs and control and everything. You cannot do that. You cannot do a tall strategy in Civ 6. Like a tall strategy in Civ 6 is like you still have like 5 to 6 cities. And a wide strategy is like 15 cities. It's absurd. So I ended up like with like 6 cities in the second game. It was pretty good. All coastal. And basically it made allies with Egypt really early on. And Egypt just like dominated the whole continent. So I had this nice buffer of like nobody could attack me from land because they'd have to go through Egypt. And I had a superior navy, so nobody could attack my coastal cities. So, one other big change is how spies work. So before, it was when you reach like the modern age, you start to get spies. You can use them to like either put pressure on city states and influence their elections, to like help you win a diplomatic victory, or you can essentially like get information about other civs, or run counterintelligence stuff in your own city. What they do now is you can send them to other civs, and they basically turn into thieves, like professional thieves. So you can do things like you can steal money, you can steal artwork, you can sabotage their science. You can either steal technology that they researched, or if they're trying to research rocketry to try and get a science victory, you can just block that. You can prevent them from getting rockets.
Wow.
And so it's a lot of this stuff. You can also, what do they call it? But it's basically like causing insurrection, which causes basically modern era barbarians to start spawning everywhere in that territory, and like running amok and like pillaging stuff and everything. So yeah, it makes it a little more interesting with the spy game. So it makes it so that it's just like, oh well, I'll just get my free spies, but I'm not gonna make any. That's absurd. I'll just let people steal stuff, whatever. So now it's like, oh no, I really don't want people to steal things. And I won by basically sending spies over to the other person, the other AI opponent that was trying to get a cultural victory, and stealing artwork from them, and then putting it in my own museums. Yeah.
Sounds like England.
Sounds like England.
Yeah, that's England right there.
I mean, I also may have like convinced Egypt to let me do open borders, and then sent archaeologists there and just dug up some of their artifacts and brought them back and put them in my museums.
Literal England.
Literal England.
That actual timeline.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, 100% true. So
100% followed the real timeline.
Yep. Yeah, first game, totally not, since I was buddies with Teddy Roosevelt, and then instigated a war with Russia, who defeated me with Cossacks. Yeah. They just steamrolled right through, and I was like, oh no. I don't understand. So, moral of the story is, make lots of cities, get lots of resources, don't let France convince you to go to war with Russia, because they'll back out of it and just leave you to fend for yourself. So, with that, I think that's going to wrap it up for this evening. So, yeah. If you want to see more wonderful content from 8-Bit Adventures, be sure to check out 8-bitadventures.com. Over there, you can find podcasts, streams, videos, artwork, comics, all that awesome stuff. If you want to help support that and get access to comics such as the Speedy and Monty comic, which are exclusively for patrons, you can consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/8bitadventures for as little as $1 a month. And you get all those benefits. So, big shout out and thank you to all of our current patrons. Thank you for making podcasts like Berkshire Bites possible. And with your continued support, we can try and make more things happen. Our opening theme is One Up by Professor Shy Guy. You can find his work over at professorshyguy.bandcamp.com. And with that, we are out. So, without further ado, have fun, everyone. Happy gaming. And enjoy your pie cake.
And listen to the story of Darth Plagueis. The tragedy of Darth. It's not a story the Jedi would tell you.